Welcome. What's up, everybody? And welcome to the Norse NOLA channel of where we talk about anything and everything within reasons. So this is just, a little something that I wanted to do. I've done it before, and I've do the Norse NOLA before the podcast of this particular podcast where we talk about anything and everything within reason. And I say within reason because of the fact that there are certain things that we don't talk about, like the the politicians or stuff like that. This is more just a podcast that I'm going to do when we talk about anything and everything was probably going with the world, like the music industry, the video game industry, or something like that. So that's what we're going for. Um, and I've done this, and we already did videos of this, but this is a new direction we're going with. Usually, I will go on Facebook, my personal Facebook, and get people on here. But now we're going to shift it. We're going to shift it to a new level and a new way of doing things. And I already have another podcast known as the Paintball Lounge, but this podcast is going to be strictly for YouTube as well as TikTok. So there's going to be times that y'all going to see me looking down on my phone, looking in the comments for TikTok, as well as looking at the comments for YouTube, because we are live currently. Currently, we are live at this present moment. So, things have just been, crazy and chaotic. And there's a lot of things to talk about. So one thing we can talk about, probably going like, talking about the podcast is, I get a lot of people asking me this question: why Norse NOLA? Why I choose the title known as Norse NOLA? Well, and the reason why I choose this title is because I like Norse mythology. I like all kinds of mythology, to be honest. Whether it's Greek, whether it's Nordic, Egyptian, I just like them all. I really do. I like them all because it's just the story of it is always fascinating. Like the story of it is very fascinating, and the way that each story tells a different person. Um, but I found out recently that I am part Viking. Like I am part Viking, which I was actually very shocked that I was part Viking, and I was like, you know what? I'll make a second podcast. It was Norse NOLA. Um, it was also the idea coming from the fact that it was me and I believe my sister. We all, and I think my friends, we all came together and we call ourselves a Call of Duty tag known as we had like Thor NOLA, Valkyrie NOLA, Fenrir NOLA. I was like, why not Norse NOLA? But yeah, that's why I came up with the thing about it. Just like, hey, let's just give it a try. Just like let's just give it a try and see what happens. Um, we only have like 2 subscribers, and we're trying. We're trying to we're trying to get more people on the show, or just talk about anything in general. I'm not going to get into deep details of certain things because I don't want to get in trouble. But A lot of things just, things are doing good so far. Things are doing good so far. Um, I've honestly think that the world. Well, let's talk about this generation. Well, let's just talk about the generation of how society has become. And I think this would be a sensitive topic to talk about, but I don't think it would be a very that much sensitive in a way. I will try to explain, and I'll also try to what's the word sugarcoat it just a smidge. But as the days grow older, and like it keeps on going. Now I recently turned 29. I've started to notice, you know, that a lot of stuff goes around with your head. Like the more you get older, the more that you start to realize that, maybe your life wasn't as bad. I mean, you probably had a bad childhood, but when you look back at some people and how they talk and how they treat other people, especially this generation, like I'm not hating on anybody. I was just saying, like, this generation of people is just like, it's really shocking. It really is shocking. Um, like, you gain drama at work like all the time. Um, and the crap that people just do it just for attention. Like, it's a lot of drama. It's just like, really? And now I look back, like when I look back at the days that people said that, you know, I like my generation was like this craziness, or this generation was like my generation was crazy, or stuff like that. Like when they were hitting on my generation, it was like, well, can't take that back now because look at this generation now. There's so much craziness in this world. Like it's not even funny. And we're also getting to the pinnacle of where, you know, nowadays, if you think about it, nowadays more people play video games. It is a way out of reality and everything. But there's more people who play more video games than ever before instead of going outside. And that is sad. I'm not gonna lie. That is very, very sad because the fact that it's like, wow, why? Like, what did the sun and the air, you know, done to you? Like, but it's also from the, whole COVID-19 and all that crap. So, it was just a lot of stuff going on. And it's just crazy. It really is crazy. I don't know how much more crazy I can explain it. It's just like shit. Just what did it's like what did like when did the whole experience of going outside and play with your friends, became like an aggravating chore? Like, and that's another thing that, people have to realize that, you know, your real friends are not the ones on the Xbox or, stuff like that. Your real friends are the ones that are away from the consoles and away from the drama of the social media and the status and all that. Those are your real friends. Like they just go out with you, play a sport or go to a bar, or I don't know, just hang out and just talk about life. Those are your real friends, and and always be there for you. Um, but yeah, it's just that there's so much going on with today's society. And I say it like that because, there's so much hostile, you know, like it's very toxic and hostile. Like you cannot even go outside and, say fuck the world without somebody, is becoming a snowflake. And, it's just we all gotta take it one day at a time. We all have to take it one day at a time, and just enjoy life as it is. Because honestly, to me, if we don't take it one day at a time and be there for people like who are our friends and stuff like that, then there's something's wrong. Something's really wrong. Turn off the camera a little bit so you can see me better. But and another thing that has been, you know, dividing us as a um it's not just a politician that is also dividing us. It's also people like to judge other people because for no reason at all. And a lot of it is on music. A lot of it is on music. And if I'm not mistaken, music supposed to help the person, supposed to help people go through a tough time or gives them positivity or a way to get out. You know, music is the way to and listen to a book or anything audible, anything audio helps out. But we are so divided. More often than politicians, we're more divided when it comes to music. And that's just kind of like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Like, for example, if someone was listening to metalcore, and if you don't know what metalcore is or deathcore is, it's basically like you got your Slipknot, Slaughter and Prevail, um, what's another one? People that does like mosh pits and stuff like that. There's people out there that will actually, judge you because you listen to that kind of music. And they will say, hey, you're a worshiper to down below. And that's not the case. And as well as with country music. A lot of people hate on country music because everybody says, oh, it's about heartbreaks and sad songs and all that. I'm like, well, that's, that makes good music and kind of helps people who are going through the tough times and the heartbreaks and everything. But at the same time, you know, we should not be judging people for the type of music they listen to or what kind of genre they like. I know a lot of people who like the 80s and the 90s, and I don't judge them. Give me 1 second. Tingled up. So another thing is, people just like to, and another group of people that judge people, and it's going back to this generation, it's the teenagers. Man, teenagers nowadays, and I'm talking about like the 15-year-olds, like the 16 to the 15-year-olds. My God, the amount of disrespect and the amount that they get away with a lot of stuff and how they talk to people is mind blowing. It is so mind blowing. I'm like, here I am, 29 years old. I should not let this bother me. It doesn't bother me, but it's still shocking to me of, how much this, like, they disrespect people, they disrespect adults. For example, you know, when you're going to a restaurant or a store or any work environment or any place that's a public place, if someone greets you, saying welcome to such and such, you know um welcome to such and such, how are you, a lot of people just literally, a lot of people ignores you. 99% of the time they just flat out ignore you, and that is so rude. It's so disrespectful, and I just don't understand why people are like that. But that's how people are. That's probably how they're raised, or um you know we don't know what their mindset. We don't. But man, the people nowadays are just so rude, and they a lot. And this has happened from 2020 when we were in the pandemic and everything. It's gotten to the point where now everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. Why is that? Why is that we had that these people want 15 minutes of fame? What's so great of having that? Because yeah, you get your 15 minutes of fame. Yeah, you're recognized by millions and millions and millions of people. Good for you. What is, like, what do you accomplish? You get money. All right. But that money's going to be gone by taxes. So you got that. You get millions of views. All right. There's probably evil people that is watching your stuff and probably going to hunt you down. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying. What is so great that this society had to literally think that having a million followers and millions of views makes you famous? And it's like nowadays it's like a drug. It's like nowadays it's like you want the high experience. It's like people crave it. Like they needed it. And in my opinion, you don't really need that. You really don't. You don't need the 15 minutes of fame. You don't need your million subscribers or stuff like that. If you're like what you're doing, even like very few, maybe one viewer, maybe two viewers, three or four, the list can go on and on and on. It could be as many people out there, but guess what? the many people out there, the many views that you're going to have, you know, congratulations, I guess. But what did you accomplish for the long term? That's what people need to understand. And I feel like the society people need to really understand that. And we're also, there's, the politician, but I'm not going to get into politics because I really don't want to get into politics. That's just a whole different ball game. I do not want to get into that. But we're just so divided because a lot of people just wants to judge another person on the smallest little things that they do not be judging whatsoever. Why would someone judge someone else because the type of music they listen to, the freaking style they wear, you know, or the special needs they have? Why should we judge people on that? And honestly, to me, there is no answer. There really isn't. There isn't no answer to that question because probably no one knows the answer. Why do we have to? Like, why? The question of the angel question of society is this: why do we have to be divided? Why can't we compromise? Why can't we not? And now there are some people in this world who are just blunt evil and don't want to compromise because they see it their way and they want to leave it as that. Okay. You want to leave it that way, you go ahead. But if you want to, but in today's society, we have to stop or we're never going to get better. And it's going to get worse and worse to where that nowadays the suicide rate, the cyberbullying is going to keep on increasing and increasing and increasing every single day. And the more it increases, the horrible it becomes. And, and that's where we all should come together one day. One day when everything is all said and done. One day when everything is all said and done. Let's just stop. Let's just put the hate brake on. Let's step back. Let's cool our jets. Because we could have lived in something much, much worse. Very much worse. Without even us knowing. And that is where we should leave society at. And I strongly believe this. I really do. I don't let the society of how people talk to me, I don't let it get to me. I might like to get to me. It may get to me at first, but not for the long term. So before we close out, another thing I want to say is this. I like doing podcasts. That's just me. I like doing podcasts. I like to get my voices out. I like to listen to other people's opinions. I like to see the comments. I like to see that the questions y'all may ask me one day. But another thing is this. If you don't like the person or you got a problem with them, why don't you just pull them to the side and talk to them calmly and listen to each other? Just listen. Do not be egg-headed. Do not be a cocky. Just shut up, sit down, and listen to each other. If one does not do that, then at least you know, at least you tried, but it's just not meant to be. So what I'm trying to say is this: when we're closing out this podcast episode, I want y'all to think about it this whole episode. And if you have not catch it right now, you can always catch it on the Norse NOLA YouTube page, Norse NOLA YouTube page, and we're gonna start by doing this from now on. We're gonna start by coming on live a little bit more often than usual, and we will try to get people come on so we can, y'all can join it and listen and have questions, and we can ask those questions. This is a new way that we're going to do in Norse NOLA. We're not going to do any intro or anything like that. We're just going to go and talk. And I feel like people need to hear that. I think that's what people need nowadays. They just need to talk. They just need to have a platform to listen and just to talk about anything or everything within reasons. So, I've been your host, and I hope I see y'all in the next episode of the Norse NOLA. We'll try to schedule a date. Well, mostly me. I'll try to schedule a date for more of this. But, appreciate, we're going to leave off with this segment of why I think this will be a great segment. Do not judge someone without getting to know someone. And if you do, still do not judge them. Keep your 2 cents opinion to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. It causes less problems and less of a drama. And we don't need that nowadays. So I've been your host, and I hope I see y'all on the next episode of the Norse NOLA podcast channel. Y'all have a good night.